What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sketchcraft shout out. Joining me tonight on this New Year's Eve night, that's when we're recording it, is Uncle Jerk.
How's it going, boils and ghouls?
I know he's all spooky. He's getting like 2025 is the jerk year. Kind of is, but I'm so excited to have you here, my man, because I have been wanting to talk to you about J. Scott Campbell's Time Capsule. Do you know what this is?
Well, I wasn't super familiar with it. You kind of talked it up a lot, and I ended up looking up this book. There's only 2 books in this series, like this Time Capsule series. I am enamored with this format. It's like the best of the modern masters interviews, and then it's got like this Chip Zdarsky like really nice integration of like kids drawing. I mean, just the art in it is amazing. It is super interesting. It's like a big interview wrapped around a bunch of like finished art, old art, layouts, sketches, and it just seems super cool.
What's up, crafties? Spawn Kills Every Spawn, drawn by yours truly, out on shelves now. Issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, and issue 4, all on the stands. Local comic book shop, you can get them, as well as Amazon, everything else. Plus, on December 18th, 2024, issue 5 drops. Oh my gosh, look, I already have it. It's ahead of time. I got it early for the Christmas season, but December 18th, you can grab it too. And don't forget, if you look on eBay and around, you'll be able to find the Spawn Kills Every Spawn sketch cover. I might even have a few in my store soon with some commissions and drawings and stuff. So go in there. And don't forget about the limited to 500 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive edition Spawn Kills Every Spawn issue 1, featuring my line arts. Wouldn't it be cool if they had done all these as secondary covers? But hey, go bother Todd about it. In the meantime, if you want to support me, help pay the bills, please, folks, go to your comic book shop, pick up some Spawn Kills Every Spawn. All right, and now back to the show. Look at that big opening. We got Back to the Future Danger Girl sketch right here. I mean, so awesome. And what he does is he interviews J. Scott Campbell, and it goes through his career from when he was a kid, like when he's a kid all the way. Look, Art Adams did it forward. How dope was that, right? Art Adams did some Danger Girl once, so there's some Danger Girl stuff. But it goes from when he was a kid, like 1983. Look at these little, all the way until like Wildsiders and stuff like that. Like, look at that Mario drawing, dude. Old school.
Yeah,
Mario.
And the way they integrate a lot of this stuff, just like interspersed throughout the book, is really fun. That's the Chip Zdarsky stuff that I'm talking about, and Chip Kid. That was the other name I was trying to think of. Chip Zdarsky and Chip Kid.
Chip Kid did like all the graphic design on the Batman animated book, which I still have my original copy. We are going to do that for certain, my man.
Everything he does is gold.
Richard Starking's interviews, I imagine he does a lot of the graphic design. It's all like comic book fonts, the wording, which I really like, actually. I really wish Wizard had done that more than like Times Roman or something. Gives it a comic book feel. I mean, sometimes you get these weird like spacing in the kerning where like, I mean, look at this. Let me zoom in. Like
it looks really awkward sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that can be fixed now. I've done oversized pages using comic book fonts, and that can be fixed. But what's really great, aside from that, is like all these childhood sketches you get from him, man. Like, I mean, we could be here all night, dude, looking at some of this stuff, right? Like Mario Brothers 2. A lot of people don't know he like made his fame by winning an art contest in Nintendo Power around, I want to say 88, 89. It was like design a video game, and he won. It was this game called, was it Long Arm or something like that? Well, I'm sure it's in here. And I remember looking at like, oh, a kid won the contest. I thought for certain it would have been like a 20-year-old or something, but the art was great. It wasn't even like they just handed it to some kid as a consolation prize.
Oh yeah, no, that never happened. He was only one of like 2 younger guys, but I think Joe Mad won one too at one point.
I'm unfamiliar with that. I'd love to see that.
Maybe he just had something published. Nah, and video games and me are disassociated, but there's someone else.
But it's got a lot of this stuff. Like this is the older like 2004 stuff where like there was the thing in 2002. There was a bit Wizard did where it was like reinvent the 80s. They did this little like bit when like they had Pat Lee did some Transformers, Joe Mad drew some Ninja Turtles, and Joe Mad drew some Thundercats, I think it was, or Voltron or something like that. And like all this, that's where Dreamwave kind of comes out of that. Like Dreamwave that as we knew it with the licensed books and stuff, all come out of that.
It's a shame we never got to see any more Joe Mad TMNT, man. He just did that one illustration.
I had to tell me about it, man. But like, look how freaking dope this is. Like you get the layouts here. Like honestly, man, you could just like color that with some marker and it'd be done for me. Like you don't even need to go further with it. But you get these cool, like that's a Gundam sketch right in there, you know, some Gundam right here. Never even seen these little bits before. Yeah, never even seen that.
Yeah, this thing's packed, man. Not just the, you know, interview, but like the actual visuals can kind of like keep you. That was one thing that I did appreciate about this thing is, you know, a lot of times when you buy interviews, it's like you read them a couple of times and then you're done with them. But with this approach to the book, you really make it kind of like a video game, you know, you got the replay value.
Yeah, it I mean with the amount of the thing is it sounds weird because we sort of associate J. Scott Campbell now with just cover art, but he drew so much, if you can believe it. And he has all the different steps, so you get a lot of work in progress. This kid stuff, look at all this, like this is like Art Adams style Hulk. Look at that spawn right there. Look at that. Look at that Hulk right there. Look at those Xenomorph.
Yeah. That's Art Adams all day.
Yeah, this is right before he does the art contest and gets into Wildstorm or whatever, the talent search, right? So like Superman, Spider-Man. I mean, like, that is a total redraw of the Art Adams, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Classic X-Men #1.
Cable's dope.
Tell me who
Turtles.
hasn't redrawn that Wolverine though. That's like the only Wolverine image you saw for 30 years.
Me. Like honestly, I never.
Well, no, I meant professional comic artist. It was just funny because like that was.
I am a professional comic artist. I know it doesn't count.
Oh
does it?
shit! I just burnt Rob and didn't even.
I know.
Jesus.
I told you, it doesn't count. I know, it's cool.
No,
so,
I meant like Marvel and DC. Like I don't even know what to call them now, man. Like not mainstreamers, because like Image is mainstream.
I'm just fucking with you, dude. Like don't even stress. Yeah, but like only Art Adams piece I had around this time was the new Fantastic Four bit, and I love that one I had. But there's so many. I want to show you like one thing that's really cool. So it goes back to like 1973 Street Fighter. I mean, dude, this is what I'm trying to say too, guys.
That is nice.
Yeah, what I think about this format compared to like an artist edition. Artist editions are really nice because you get like the original art that's like all soiled and, you know, coffee stains. Fine. Campbell didn't have a lot of that anyway on his pages. Like he seemed to be pretty, you know, clean. He wasn't like, you know, just drinking all over his work. But what I like about this is that it feels like an artist edition that's focusing actually on the artist. You get their upbringing, their life, the whole bit. You know, you really feel like you learn much more. This is somewhere between a comics journal interview and Wizard magazine, you know.
It reminds me much more of the Modern Masters interview series. For anybody that's familiar with the Tomorrow's publishing series, Modern Masters, it's not the same format, but it is the same kind of breadth and all-inclusive, really interesting TCJ level questions, but asked on a much larger scale. Oh, lock arm. Here we go. Okay, this is the
this is it.
Okay.
Lock arm. That's not long arm, lock arm. But yeah, this is it. And this is like all his level. I mean, this is very basic, you know. But like he even drew like the controller. Look, it was a big deal to me when I was a kid because I didn't have. My dad bought an NES when it first came out in '85. He bought some games in the Zapper separately because that was separate. And then I didn't get any new game until 1989, 90. Yeah. I would have to like basically like make my own like pretend games. I draw out levels and controllers and I'd like pretend to play them and stuff, you know? So like this stuff was right up my alley. And this was the actual bit in Nintendo Power. And you could see, look at this little guy. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that little guy.
Man, he was young as hell. Wow.
Yeah. He said that he took the money that he won from this and got his mom to buy him a Laserdisc player so he could freeze frame like movies and animation, like anime and Disney and stuff, and learn from the frames. Like, that's smart, right? Not a lot of kids are thinking like that. You know, not in 88, you know, like.
No kids are thinking about that when it comes to art, man. That's crazy.
This is an excellent thumbnail, dude. This little like Tinkerbell. Look how simple that is with the eyes and then the Tinkerbell going right through there.
Man, I miss when he just used like when he actually threw stuff into layouts like that.
He still does. He still does, man. His covers have that. It's just we see the final result. We don't get the pencils, you know? Also, he did this stuff in the Danger Girl for his sketchbook, the Danger Girl sketchbook, which we should cover at some point. But he did these Disney styles where he actually like colored these. I think they're hand colored too, but they were definitely digitally colored. But he like colored the lines, and in color, this looks like a perfectly cell shaded Disney style. You know, it's just frustrating because when you eventually see the Gen 13 cartoon, you're like, what the hell?
Oh my god,
which looked like just the most generic Bruce Timm knockoff, right? Yeah. And I'm like, no, this is somewhere between like, look at this. This is somewhere between Ralph Bakshi, right, and like him. And this is when he was doing a little bit more of the more Drucker faces I wasn't as big a fan of. But even then, still, this has more personality than, you know,
way more personality.
Right.
None of that translated.
I know. You get this masterful designer, and then you do an animated movie and don't have him design it. That's genius. Smart move. He talks about his influences, Chuck Jones. I mean, they get into everything on this, dude. And so I want to show you, like, let me jump over really quickly. So there's his parents and family and, you know, mom, and look at that mullet, dude. Look at that mullet. Look at that little...
Work in the front, play in the back, baby.
His brother kind of looks like from Christmas Vacation, right?
Oh,
Galecki,
shit, yeah.
Galecki, whatever. But he did all these caricatures in high school, like,
wow.
And he would do all the for the school newspaper. So he'd do Married with Children, and he had a Jones, you know. And they're all in here. Look at Batman 1. There's Batman Returns stuff. It's Scrooged. Like.
How much Mad did he read? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, this is where you really do see his Mad magazine influence, you know?
Yeah, I mean, these are beautiful.
And he's in high school doing this, guy. Like high school, right? Like, even look at, he calls this character the gatekeeper, like a crib keeper, right? But it's an Indiana Jones lettering, you know?
Dude.
Look at the Michael Jackson. Is he black or white? Like 92. Yeah. Just the 90s were a little bit more brutal when it came to humor, folks. You know?
Yeah, slightly.
So this is an era of him around the 2002, 2004. He was doing these sketchbooks too. I have a few of these, and they're all like, they're Struzan level like layouts, but they're rendered in pencil, right? But they're drawn in his comic booky Mort Drucker Danger Girl style. And I'm like, this layout should have been a poster, dude. I know we live in a world, man, where it's like, oh, it's got to be the physical actor's face, but you know what I'm saying? Like, this would have been a poster in 1968.
Well, real. Yeah, and like now it would be too, with like Mondo and all of these guys doing screen prints and stuff again. Yeah. Like, this is one of those. I mean, yeah, because this is the stuff that I love from him. just that like the layout on this is
Right.
so like amazing,
The
man.
clouds that come back here with the stars and everything has energy. The stars, the swirls, and then the way it cuts, right? Like this, it almost the pinwheel kind of goes through the image, right?
It just pulls you in, man, and it guides the eyes really well.
See, this is one of those things, dude, that like this is why I prefer personally to put more effort into layouts, and it just eats up more time.
Yeah.
You know? And I just hear from publishers it's like, man, we need it by Tuesday. I'm like, you're not, just chill, you know? Like, and I could see an editor who maybe wasn't impressed with his line style going, well, it just took forever. I'm like, but look at this.
Even if you had somebody else end up rendering it and you replace the faces, that's the kind of like composition that you kill to get your hands on, because that is Struzen level.
Yeah.
Which is what's so annoying when I see like 50 million covers where it's just a chick or a guy standing in the middle.
I know. That's the kind of the world we live in right now. But this one right here, he goes all through the movie stuff he did when he was a kid, like Addams Family caricatures, Schwarzeneggers.
Pee-wee Hammer.
Yeah. And Pee Wee Herman.
That's what I'm saying, man. Taking shots.
I know.
Pee-wee.
I know. These were for his school newspaper. He's like, yeah, I used to get in trouble all the time. You know, they didn't really like a lot of these jokes.
I hope so.
This Star Wars piece, I remember was in a Topps trading card set.
Okay, I'm not insane. I swear to God I'd seen that, because I think they used that as a topper or something.
It was Topps trading card set, dude. And I really loved this. This is right before Danger Girl, and you could see like Garner's on Eeks, and you could see the Danger Girl-ness coming through a little bit more here with the shape of the faces, especially like Leia down here, who's like,
definitely.
The first two issues of Danger Girl, she has these heart-shaped faces, I call them, right? Like this really particular, which I really love. And then it kind of gets into I call it the Cruella de Vil face. But but this is excellent. This is right around the time too when Dark Horse. Remember, Dark Horse was going to lose a license, and so like Top Cow, those guys were all vying for it in Extreme.
Yes, I do.
I think this is one of those things where like maybe we can get these guys to do it, but I'm certain there's a version of the multiverse where he was drawing Star Wars comics for 10 years, you know? But look at this layout, dude. I've never seen this layout before. This is probably when he submitted. Look, Admiral Akbar up here, you know? The under the ships. Like, remember, no photo tracing here. He's drawing the actual ships and the shapes, you know?
Man, that's freaking dynamic. See, this is gorgeous.
Yeah.
His rough stuff is so much nicer than the cleaned up, like.
Well, that's because we're artists. We're artists and we love that stuff. The average person is like, what are you talking about? I can't even see them. You know?
I'm just talking about me personally.
I know. Yeah,
I never speak for anyone else.
Right. I love Sarah Connor. John Connor.
Man,
These are all these
dead on.
Yeah, and so what I was trying to say before is everyone brought something to Image, right? And so Lee and them, when you listen to like Liefeld talk on his podcast or anything, he's always talking about like, oh, they were trying to do Art Adams, and Liefeld and Larson gets Liefeld and them into like manga, so the manga influence comes in, right? And I feel like what Scott Campbell brought was Disney and caricature, especially caricature.
Man, that Nirvana's killer too.
Yeah, he brings character, which in the caricature, although he can do the straight, you know, Drucker style stuff.
Yeah,
he brings life to these typically static characters, you know? I mean, this is very static, right? Like this is typical Marvel. Like if they wanted to hire, I want to say like that Art Tiber, how do you pronounce his name? Tiber, right? Like if they were like, oh, we just want that Jim Lee thing, like Mark Pacella a little bit. But
okay, yeah.
You know, that's him doing the style. But then you get not too far into it. Like what's a good example of it? Like he doesn't naturally draw like that because look what he's doing here. You know? Like look at this. This is some like advertisement for rollerblades. You know?
How much did that guy love his Indiana Jones? Jesus.
Right. But then you see here he is doing a little like Wildstorm or Top Cow piece, and look how they're alive, right? Like look at that face on Ripclaw. You know, like they're actually expressing and emoting. Now he can do the, you know, the standard, you know, Billy Badass pose, but very quickly, you know, here he's doing the Jim Lee thing, but very quickly you end up more where you end up with like this, where it starts to come alive, you know, like let's go right here. So like very animated, more people say animated, but I just think it's because the faces start to move. You know, this is 92.
Yeah, I mean, like his 90s stuff definitely, I think, is just got a little bit more movement and life than other stuff at the time. Yeah.
Here's him doing caricatures of all the homage guys in 93.
I was going to say probably owing a lot to that character style. I mean, that's just lets you bring so much.
But it goes, and you can see it obviously in Gen 13, you know, from like the first four issues to issue 1, you know. But like this too is Art Adams, but then this is not Art Adams, you know what I mean? Like this is almost caricature, but with, see, McFarlane did that cartooning thing, but he adds all that Terry Austin grit. So this is like a cartooning dinosaur. It has more realism shapes, but it's animated. It's not just that. Go look at what a person in 1992 in comics was drawing when it came to dinosaurs. They weren't doing this with saliva and drool and teeth and back rendering. It just wasn't happening.
Well, no one was drawing anything like that in 92. They were trying to move, you know.
Right.
Like, no.
And then, you know, eventually 10 years later in 2002, you end up with this fully formed, somewhere between Disney and Image Comics art style, you know. So this is he gets into his influence by Masamune Shirow, and really you can see it like in the legs, the longer legs, right?
Yeah,
the longer waist, which I remember, like, I mean, here's like an example of that, you know. And I remember when this came out, guys at cons go, no woman's built like that. I'm like, no woman's indestructible either. Like you know, I wish every woman was as strong as Fairchild. We'd have far less problems in the world, you know. But like, this is, look at this, dude. I love this. This is one of my favorite pieces he did at the Monsters in Vampirella. This is 2000. Like, there's so many things in here, and it's like, it has like that Art Adams, Mort Drucker, Glenn Keane, Ralph Bakshi. It's a fully homogenized, you know, fully deformed original. No one's drawing like him now, you know. Like it is his own thing, and it's got Struzan, you know. Look at McFarlane bats, you know. Like
yeah, he's just pulling from everywhere, man.
And all these layouts are just so worth the price of admission, I think. When did you like start to notice this guy? I mean,
J. Scott Campbell.
Yeah.
Me personally, like, I'm working at the shop, probably like 93, probably 93, 94, when people are like asking about him. I don't necessarily like have anything wrong with J. Scott Campbell, but like I checked out on Image really early, man.
Right.
Like definitely Gen 13 was like not my cup of tea.
I'm much more mainstream than you in this sense, you know. Like we both do the indie thing, you know. But I think because you worked retail and the whole Image, you know, thing burned a lot of retailers.
It was just like I was reading them for free, so I didn't like. I don't think I took them home to like obsess over the art necessarily as much as like people who bought them, if that makes sense. So I'm like reading them for the story, and I'm like, this is stupid, and I don't care about any of this. Like, I remember when Max came out, and I was so excited because I was like, yeah, well, Image can do books, you know.
Yeah, but like, I wasn't getting. Look at this. Look, say what you want. I wasn't getting this as a fan of art, right? I'm not getting this at DC and Marvel. This should be a Wonder Woman comic, right? Like this should be Wonder Woman, Themyscira, and these Indiana Jones like dudes. Like this sort of fun should be happening. And look, he's even doing the Drew Struzan. Look, a la Drew Struzan. That's hilarious. The Struzan like map cover background, you know. Yeah. But like we aren't getting that from Marvel. We're getting the, hey man, you got to get the pages out, meet the deadlines, get the monthly book. I'm like, I'll wait a month. Give me this. You know, give me something more that goes beyond not just storytelling, but it feels like a movie on paper, like a giant animated movie on some level.
And to be fair, man, like J. Scott Campbell was never, I mean, he it's not that he didn't ever miss deadlines, but he was not, you know, Liefeld or anything like that where you have 18 months between issues, dude. So I think he probably, unfortunately, and maybe like, I think it's interesting to look at his style and how it changes and how quickly it evolves, because like during this era out at Image, like there are such massive problems going on with people meeting deadlines that like there's internal policing going on that's very heavy about deadlines and meeting deadlines and solicitations and all of that.
And all those
stuff.
guys who miss deadlines run the companies now. So I want to check this out. I want to train this up to you. Here's Richard Starkins. How involved were you with the Gen 13 animated movie? Was that a good or bad experience seeing something like that? And Johnny Scott goes, it was a bit of a non-experience, really. I was involved a little bit at the beginning, developing the look of the characters and the model sheets, but I think that was more a matter of just them being courteous to me and to see what it would do. The filmmakers and Kevin Altieri, who directed it, he's a very opinionated and very energetic guy, and I do like him, but he had his vision of what he was going to do, and I didn't get the sense that much of what I was going to change his mind, that was going to change, whatever I was saying was going to change his mind or not. Was that frustrating? Starkins asked him, and he says, not so much, because I didn't allow myself to be frustrated by it. I wasn't an animation director. It wasn't my money going into it. I mean, look at these. Even these designs are better than what we ended up in the movie. It's still like Bruce Timmey, but it's still better. Like, because the proportions here are better on Fairchild, right? Like you get the length.
Way better, yeah.
Yeah. And no, man, they just Disney-fied, like cheap Disney home video. They
just genericized it, yeah, really badly. And you can't do that to Gen 13. The only thing it really hung its hat on was, you know, artistic style. See, and that's God, I mean...
Look, people go, oh, cheesecake. I don't want to hear nothing about it. I don't want to hear... We're from the 90s, I figure, right? So my whole point with the 90s, the thing for me that was big about art in the 90s compared to the 80s or 70s even, was, for me, it was like, don't censor art. Let the artist have what they're gonna do, you know? Get rid of the comics code, get rid of the rules, and be as creative as possible and put whatever you got into it and show me who you are. That's what if some of that on some cheeks, whatever, it's got muscles, whatever, I don't care. Long as it's fun and cool, that's all I care about. And this kind of layout, as playful and cheeky as it is, this is the sort of thing I thought should have been going into Teen Titans. If you wanted to make Teen Titans and that sort of thing relevant to a 14-year-old kid at this time, or an 18-year-old kid at this time, 17 actually, 96, that's what should be happening, and it's not. And so, but it's happening here. And then you got the guys who like are story nuts, and then they're like, well, but the stories weren't as good. I'm like, most stories weren't as good. That's why you remember like a specific run of Teen Titans from like 5 years, right? Out of like 40 years of publishing. There's always something that's really good, but these stories were good enough. They made me chuckle. Like, I always figure this, if I'm throwing down $3-4, I just want to chuckle, man. I want to chuckle and be like impressed. That's what I take into it. I don't get to speak for the whole industry, but that to me is where he goes in space. Look at all these layouts. You could learn from any one of these, you know? I think this would have been, let me zoom in here. I think this layout would have been the one that would have been a game changer. Putting the logo in the middle of the book.
Oh man, that's cool.
Yeah, they never did anything like that. Yeah.
They wouldn't have never let you did it because you couldn't see it at the top of the rack.
They should have shipped that one. They should have shipped that one out to us subscribers. You know, so, this is a breakout one. That's that. The breakout ones are always good. I think that would have been a good one too. You know, but These are up pretty good. This is the one I'm down for. I'm down for. My man.
I mean, and yeah, there's like there are different types of comics, and there are different types of people who read comics. And I don't think there's anything wrong with making a $4 comic to make somebody laugh,
or to make someone go, "Wow, that was impressive." Because quite frankly,
Yeah.
dude, I spend a lot more at the movie theater and get a lot less. Like, I'm just gonna be honest with you. More often than not. More often than
Yeah,
not. I've never
and you know-
seen. Have you seen this one? This Austin Powers? Yeah. Like, he's got the shark with the lasers back here.
Jesus, dude.
He's got the, yeah. This is from the first movie. 100%. He's got the Mr. Evil with the Dr. Evil with the pinky. It says Wildstorm proposal for Austin Powers comic license 2002.
I wondered. I was like, why did I never see this?
Yeah, it was a pitch.
Pitch work.
Danger Girl. This is the shape, the face shapes I told you. I see. This is where I get the big cheekbones. I'm not as big a fan of. It's these shapes. These more rounder Disney Glen
Yeah.
Keane. I'm more into that. So let's jump ahead a little bit because I want you to see some stuff that didn't actually get done. His Batman work. He was gonna do a Batman thing and it went to shit. Yeah.
What happened?
Essentially he took so long and they kind of moved on and just the timing didn't work out. And what was gonna, I think the amount of time it was gonna take, the numbers that they wanted for issues weren't there. And the sense I get from the interviews is that he kept going over like the market fell out, or the issues weren't selling as much, you know? And I go, God damn, that's such short-sightedness, because to this day, this trade paperback would still be selling. They'd be selling oversized editions, omnibus editions, artist editions. You'd have J. Scott Campbell action figures, you know? Like, this is my theory. I could do with no monthly comics. I could just do with endless miniseries that take an artist a year and a half to do, that sells forever. You know, that I would prefer more effort, because there's so many books out every month anyway. You can't buy them all. It's physically and financially impossible for most people. And look, you don't get these kinds of, you can't do designs like this in a monthly book. You can't do this without changing the whole universe, you know?
Yeah, and like you can't even keep up with a monthly character anymore. You know, you like Batman,
Correct.
you better be buying 15 Batman titles a month.
I couldn't keep up with the monthly character then. During
I know,
this time,
yeah.
you know? But yeah, so this one fell apart, and he kind of just keeps talking about these numbers. Like this one got published, right? This cover, yeah, that was for
Well, yeah, I
563.
mean, he came in like just prior leading into that like boom, and nobody had ever seen money like that. And like I know a lot of the veterans and stuff like Art T-Bear, they knew what was coming. You know, they knew this was an artificial bubble, but these young kids, they didn't have any frame of reference.
But it doesn't matter if it's a bubble now. These guys are selling these books forever. So my whole point is,
But
if
they
you do
didn't
have
know
someone who's
that
good,
then.
right? If you do have someone that's good though, and this is an editor, folks, this is an editor's job to be able to know when you got someone who's gonna be timeless, that you can remarket 2, 3, 4 years from now.
There
I
you
learned this
go.
in t-shirts. I learned this. We did designs because t-shirts would turn around so fast that you could do a design now that didn't make it or didn't sell, but 3 years later does 100,000 units. It's there's a saying that like I heard Shigeru Miyamoto say once about Nintendo, and it was that there's no bad ideas, just bad timing. But comics only works on like, oh, it had to hit that month or it never works ever again. What? Take some of the stuff that didn't work maybe as well in sales, like that you know is good, like the Madman Superman, repackage that in the manga format, give it a push, and put it out during the Superman stuff. And I guarantee you're gonna probably sell more copies than you think, you know? Like they just don't think that way. Sometimes they do with the big names, but it's always behind a name. It's never about the quality of the project, is what I'm trying to say.
And it's only once they hit like this massive point like J. Scott Campbell is one of those guys, because you're right. You could perennially perennially be selling those trades.
I'm certain every one of us, by the way, before I get into it, look how cool this
God
Wolverine
damn
design
it.
is. I actually really like this. This is in black and white, so it's a little bit, I actually think it's pretty cool for a black leather costume, you know? I think that's actually, it's got weird tattoos on his nose, but I actually really like this.
I was like, I'm wondering about the tattoos. It's like, how does Wolverine get tattoos?
It's just the tribal. I know, they're fake tattoos. That's why. So, look, you want to get into any of this stuff? So how does he the Sean Chen series, he gets like ripped in half, and you know, I mean, how do you figure that? So it goes from a healing ability to like weird magical properties, Wolverine. What I'm trying to say is I'm sure everybody, every artist or every fan that we know of has some thing that they love that didn't get its love when it came out, but you know is a very well done piece of work. I'll give you one right now. I did it on this channel with my buddy Paul from the Comic Binge. We did Joker Mask. Did you ever see Joker Mask, the comic series?
I bought it when it came out.
It is, to me, I call it the lost animated series crossover that you don't know about, because it has the look and feel and tone of the Batman animated series, but with a little bit of like a Jeff Matsuda vibe, color by Dave McCaig, and it is fantastic. And that Joker Mask thing could sell now if they just put it out as one trade and give it a little bit of a push, a little action figure, you know?
It got a bunch of steam maybe a year or two, no, probably more than that, 3 or 4 years ago. But yeah, I mean, the issues are not cheap anymore because of that.
And so here's that Drew Struzan thing I was telling you he was doing a lot, like with Buffy. You know? I mean, it's Mort Drucker and Drew Struzan. Like, how great a combination is that?
Where did this J. Scott Campbell go?
Huh? You know where he's like? You know how long that took? I know. But I know this is, to me, this is like, when I say like 2004, this is when around this time he kind of goes into just doing the pinups covers, you know? I think that kind of starts with the Spider-Man stuff, and I love the Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah.
But it kind of goes from but this right here is still so, the color versions
Spider-Man covers were so good, and then
I want this like on a high lithograph paper, you know?
Yeah.
Like
I want to see this painted up.
I know. I love his look at this Indiana Jones. I love this. Here's the thing, man. They never should have done a live action Indiana Jones. I've been saying this for years. They should gone to CGI stylized animation. He did this in 2005 before Kingdom of the Crystal Skull came out. I'm like, just give me an animated Indiana Jones like this. Find a way to put the lines in, you know, find a way to give it a Drew Struzan meets animated style, because he did all the posters anyway, you know, like.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, it's a style people associated with. You probably could have gotten away with that.
Look at this Willow. Look at this Willow. Oh, how good is that? It just makes it look so effortless. Just a couple of little ticks there, and it's got this, and you're just like, oh. Guys, so hard to make that work.
Yes, it is. And her body language is very good.
Dawn,
right there.
Yeah, really Dawn's body language. Yeah, the dopey sister.
Yeah,
you know your Buffy.
Yeah, it's. And
my personal favorite with Battle Chasers cover. Like, I didn't think it would. I love Joe Mad. If I had to would I buy a Joe Mad comic or a J. Scott Campbell? I'd probably buy a Joe Mad one. But this Struzan thing, I think it was like issue 7.
This is intense.
Yeah. Issue 7.
Because I only have like a passing memory of Battle Chasers.
Oh, we're gonna get through it. You're gonna have to relive all these memories. Sorry.
I know. No.
That's part of this channel. We're gonna make him regret. No. Enjoy. So I want to see if I don't really get this, but he says this is vintage Kirby Ditko style. Eyes, Silver Age, and McFarlane. And I'm like, no, he's just squinting. I don't see that at all. But I think he means like the shape of the
trying
black.
To imply, but he's not hitting it.
Yeah. There's just not enough variety.
Bless his heart.
Yeah.
That's very Kirby. I'd give him that. But like Kirby did like 2 illustrations inking over Ditko's stuff, and he did an awful job.
But I do love all these Spider-Man. I really loved his Spider-Man covers, and
See,
he's
that one right there is the one that changed. That right there. You know, you were asking me like, when did he really? If I was to be bluntly honest, besides Gen 13, this is it.
right here.
This is when people
All
brought
of this or this one right here.
that right there. The Amazing Spider-Man cover, man.
You
'Cause
didn't see Spider-Man this good since McFarlane left. Am I right?
I don't know if I would go that far, but
I'm
it
going
is
that far.
extremely good.
I'm going that far. I'm going there.
I know, no, and I'm not taking that away from you, man. It is. I'm not a J. Scott Campbell fan. Period. This is a classic Spider-Man cover. I mean, it's fucking dynamic. It's got the webbing, the line weights. Look at that, dude. This is the best of,
like knockout shape. Yeah,
dude. It is the best of McFarlane. It's the best of Matsuda. It's the best of Ramos. You've got some Bagley tossed in there. You definitely some Chris Bacalo. Like fucking, he is just nailing it right there, nailing it. This is one of the covers that cemented him as a sales juggernaut.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, the Spider-Man covers changed everything. I thought this layout was fantastic. The Peter Parker, and he's got the Spider-Man like being projected, the symbol against
man.
Yeah, I really loved that particular layout. And then this right here, this Struzan rendering kind of pencil. You don't even need color. You can just do this. This is a great cover too. I mean, you just weren't getting this from Marvel.
No, he was bringing something. I mean, he was bringing that image like actual image flavor, not people imitating or like that were almost there. Like he was fully fledged and bringing it to Marvel.
So he was working on his Spider-Man miniseries, right? Look at that Jack Black Doc Ock. Who was thinking of like that in 2004, bro? Get back to me on that, you know?
No, I mean this is prime time. He's really firing on all cylinders here. I would have been interested to see this.
He just keeps talking about the sales, and the sales are down. So I just think he grew up at at Wildstorm at that time when if you weren't selling hundreds of thousands of copies, if not millions, then it wasn't worth the trouble.
Yeah.
You know? Here's a Spawn Spider-Man cover, right? Layout, and here's the unused layout. I put a spoof parody of this in Spawn Kills Every Spawn issue 5. I just redrew over the Spider-Man. Well, I redrew the whole thing. And then I turned the Spider-Man into a spider spawn. So I made it like necroplasm and put the Spawn costume and stuff on. I'm kicking myself for not taking that layout and doing a version of it. If I get to do another one ever, I will find a way to put that in the book. As a parody. Chase got Campbell, not as a cover ripping you off or not. I always put his after camel or something on there so no one can go, "You're stealing." Like, no, man, I'm trying to pay an homage to these guys, dude. That lizard is sick, dude. Look at that. This is so Ditko, though, dude. And when I say Ditko, I don't mean in the art style, in the thinking.
The cold reptilian nature.
And the creepiness, right?
Yeah.
Like he was drawing Spider-Man. Ditko drew Spider-Man and the villains with a creepiness that was fun.
Yes.
These hands, dude. These Nosferatu hands. This is what the movie. Remember in the movie, bro? I worked on the Amazing Spider-Man license shirts, right? And when we got the style guide, and I saw the lizard, and it looked like a Goomba from the Super Mario Bros. Movie. I just couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, no kid's gonna wear this on their shirt. They're gonna get beat up. Like this lizard right here, dude. Okay, I gotta come here. Look at that.
See, that's fucking dope, man. Like having them on the walls and stuff, because That's creepy Ditko right there. Is, you know, like
That's my favorite lizard of all time. I think this particular. Look, you can see the understructure, the legs under the cloth here, and this is just sliding across the floor.
it's just dynamic.
But you know, someone would say,
itself.
can't be done monthly. Don't get 4 issues and Dark Knight Returns it. I don't mean like the story. I mean just with the, you know.
Who cares about monthly? When?
I know they grew up with that thing, you know, and the, you know, to this day, you still hear it from publishers, but he keeps talking about the numbers monthly. This is all. His Apes work was pretty good too. He did these Planet of the Apes covers. I thought were better than the movie, you know.
Way better than the movie. Not that that's saying much, but
yeah.
Shame on you, Tim Burton.
Some 9/11 stuff. So it's Kiss. So let me just jump ahead really quick, see if I can find where's, so we can get some more of those just Scarlett Johansson. So this is all the Wildsiders, which he, you know, the Wildsiders, we'll get into that at some point. I'd like to, but he basically was trying to put together Voltron and Power Rangers, and I'm like, big mistake, bud. First off, you didn't have a giant robot. You had kids that could turn into. They figured out a way, and you could kind of see it in some of the Wildstorm books, the Gen 13 stuff, where he can draw a separate drawing and they superimpose it digitally and trap the lines, you know. And so he would do that trapping the line. This is superimposed digitally, you know, and they would then turn this into like a hologram looking thing. No kid was like holograms. They want robots. If he had just done a giant, awesome, like a sexy mecha, I hate to say it, sexy Gundam dude, he probably would have sold a gazillion copies.
He would have.
Yeah. You know, Gundam with boobs. Tranzor Z, that's not new. There was a female robot whose boobs popped off and flew around when I was a kid. It was the best. It's a great cartoon.
My God, you're totally right.
Yeah, no, I remember because I loved that. I fell in love. My mom was like, what are you watching? And I'm like, boobs. And she's like, well, fair enough. Look at this, Big Trouble Little China. Right?
Man.
It's a great reference. I love, these are all like stuff he did for the video game, but like, or like these little like cutscenes. These are so good, dude. This is what indie games, when I tell you about indie games, they need to be doing this kind of stuff. You know, where like if I drew like a layout like this and then we pixeled the creative, you know, compositions and different menus. They don't think like this, man. They all try to like look clean and simple. I'm like, no, go this way. You know, be different.
Be different. That's the key, man.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to do that.
Yeah, well, they're waiting for someone else to do it first. This is what it is.
Truth.
But I actually like the art in Wildsiders. It just, the concept was not.
I was gonna say this doesn't great, you know, solid art still.
You'll appreciate this one, the pencil layout for Apes.
Man. Look, the follow through on those man. Yeah, there you go. Nice.
Yeah, and then the pencils to inks, you know, color.
Yeah.
So, solid stuff, man. You know, solid stuff. Look at that 90s J. Scott Campbell. Look at that.
That's the J. Scott Campbell I remember. Wizard Top 10. That was like the picture. They exactly looked like the picture they used too.
He looks kind of like Fred Savage right there, though, don't he? Like. Got the Fred Savage head.
He definitely has the Fred Savage. Yeah, he does. Wow.
So there are some color pages in this book, folks, right at the very end. Some old stuff, like hand colored ads and stuff, like for Pogs or something. Dino Stoppers.
Oh my God.
I know, right? And then the Buffy color, right? The glare is a little tough because of the
I see nothing.
But when it comes to this, I would say the only thing with the digital coloring is that they don't underlight it properly. so like a lot of the lines get lost. And Struzan, and what they didn't do on this, like the glare, guys, there's only so much I can do about glare, folks. You just have to deal. But if you look at this up close, what he's not doing here on the color that Struzan does, when Struzan airbrushes, he then goes in over his airbrushing and adds more detail in, you know, color pencil over the lines essentially. And this needs a good, I have a really excellent color pencil brush for Photoshop. You can't tell the difference. I spent a long time on it. I even, because I have high res Struzan art that I may or may not have kept from my time on Star Wars. And I just put it over his stuff till you can't tell the difference, you know, just worked it out. And this just needs those lines put over. You can't color underneath these pencils. They just blend in too much. You lose it. This is what happens. So it's not that you can't. Muddy. It's a shame. I want to talk about that. So not a fan of this redesign of Vampirella. Never was. Don't get it.
That's fucking Vampirella?
Yeah, they did this, like, they were calling it Vampy. It was like a manga take on it. I didn't ever liked any of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wonder how I missed that one.
This cover I really love. The Daredevil Black Widow cover. I put this on a shirt in 2006. And they told me, take off Black Widow because women won't sell shirts. And I was like, hold on now. Hold on. Marvel says this, right? I go, let's go to Walmart and go look at all the girls on shirts featuring tequila and, and race cars, right? There are women all over the place. What do you mean? Well, some kid will wear this and their mom won't want them to wear it because it'll be too sexual or something. And I'm like, it's on the front cover of your comic book. You want the kid to buy the comic, right? You know, then they go, stop arguing.
I was just getting ready to say, and that's where they're like, we make dollars and no cents. You shut up.
It's a great Destro.
I was looking at that while you were talking about that cover. That's fucking cool.
Yeah. If I were to do an animated G.I. Joe movie a la Spider-Verse in terms of just being a CGI hybrid, I would use J. Scott Campbell to do all the designs.
His design work is really impressive. I'm very taken by a lot of that stuff.
I thought you would
much
like
more so than much more than his published work.
The marker color comps for the Spider-Man covers.
That is like gorgeous.
Quick marker studies.
We need more stuff like that. I want to see more stuff like this in our books.
I'm going to show you something. We're going to do Savage Dragon hardcover, volume 1, maybe next week. And because I want to show you it, because in the back, there's all these pages colored by, on all this work colored by Larson and marker. And I'm like, please, for the love of God, just do some issues of Savage Dragon and marker. Like an anniversary issue or something, so he's not beholden to doing it. You know, I don't want to cost his colorist a job, but for just once, it's so good, you would like it. Trust me.
Oh, I believe you, man. I'm a suck. There's a personal feeling to that stuff, and a life when you can really, really do stuff by hand.
This is what I meant by see how they trapped the lines to give it like a hologram.
Yeah.
Like they inverted them and then had a glow or something. This isn't Power Rangers. This is like Animorphs or something. Like if you want robots, give me the giant robot, you know?
I was just thinking Animorphs, dude. I was like, what is that terrible fucking...
This is my pin. This is the version of Gen 13 art-wise that I like the most. This kind of face, this rounder face.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So this was for the trade.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a trade. That's the trade.
I would love to see a Chiodo color guide on this. The Guy Major's not the best colorist on this. He's good, but it's not at the same level as Chiodo and those guys.
Chiodo's god level though, man.
Yeah, I know. I have Chiodo color guides, and we're gonna do those sometime soon.
God, I'm so jealous.
So that's it, folks. This thing is packed. Give me your thoughts here. Wrap it up. Tell me what you think about this, good or bad. I want to know.
Personally, I am not the biggest J. Scott Campbell fan. I would still own this book. This is well put together. If you have a passing interest in the artist, wonderful interview. If you want a look at his at least as close as I know as you can get a look at his process, you're gonna get it in the art. You get that real nice chip kid feeling with the
Yeah.
the child art that they integrated into it.
Yeah.
The layout is really, really dynamic and well done. It felt like the people that worked on this not only gave a crap about J. Scott Campbell, but comic books in general, which is not something you always see. The design of it is just very appealing, and it was a reasonably priced hardcover. There's nothing about this book that isn't quality to me.
Yeah, this should be an ongoing series, and I really wish
should have been.
it probably didn't get the sales numbers they were hoping when this stuff came out, but reissue it and do one now on Todd McFarlane, do one now on Dan Mora, some of the newer guys, you know, do one now on look, I'm biased, I'd say Megan Hetrick. I think she's an undervalued, under-recognized artist in comics, probably because she didn't do enough interiors, but she's fantastic. But again, pick your pick of the litter, you know. I mean, Peach Momoko, you know, if you could sit down with an interview with her, you know, would be fascinating, right? Can't beat this, folks. This is 100%. Look, if you know, feel free to suggest similar books, similar takes. There is a Tim Sale version. At some point, we will get to that too. They only made 2 of these. I own them both because I'm a nerd. And, you know, feel free to in the comments vote. Let us know what you think. Seriously, put anything in the comics. Just go nuggets, you know, and it will help engagement. I'll go back in there and I'll go McRib, right? And then Roman will come, Uncle Jerk will go in there and he'll go barbecue, right? So we can all.
No, but if anybody knows any series that are comparable to this, that you know, if you're familiar with this book or you think that you know of something of this caliber, please get in the comments section and let us know, because Rob and I are both massive comic book nerds and junkies, and we're not above maybe hunting some stuff down or picking some stuff up for an episode. So
100%.
Get in the comments section.
I would say too, especially if you're living in another country like Brazil, Argentina, France, we have overseas fans. If there are interviews, right, like books and stuff like that with really good artists that we're not getting here, that are over there, point them in my direction. Let me know in the comments. Seriously, we'll get those and get them on here. With the power of Google Lens, we can translate anything. So roughly, right? So,
yep.
All right, everybody, that's it. Feel free, leave your subscribe, like, smash the like button, share this stuff, whatever you got to do. And as always, thank you for joining Uncle Jerk and I on this Sketchcraft shout out. Say goodbye, Uncle Jerk.
Have a happy new year, folk.
Happy New Year's. Peace. What's up, crafties? Make sure you follow me, Sketchcraft, at YouTube and Instagram and everywhere else on socials, as well as Jerk Comics on YouTube and on Instagram and all the other socials. You can also check out my stuff at sketchcraft.com, so you can find my art, and you can buy my stuff at shopsketchcraft.com. If you'd like to get some comics I've made, Spawn Kills Every Spawn, issue 1 through 4 on racks at all your comic book shops right now. Issue 5 out December 18, 2024, and the trade paperback coming to you July 29th, 2025, all the way next summer, but we're gonna have cause to celebrate. Spawn Kills Every Spawn. Go get that right now. Support the old Sketchcraft, and we'll see you next time. Peace.